Hi everyone, this is Miss P with a review on dividing a decimal number by a decimal number using the problem 23 and 6/10 divided by 4 hundredths. So whenever we see a division problem with a decimal number in it, we have to check to see if the divisor is a decimal because that affects the way that we're going to solve the problem. So in this case, both the divisor and the dividend are decimal numbers. But the most important thing for us to pay attention to here is that the divisor is a decimal number. So let's go ahead and write this problem in a way that's easier for us to work with. We have 23 and 6/10 divided by 4 hundredths. Because the divisor is a decimal, we know we're going to have to multiply that decimal divisor by powers of 10 until it becomes a whole number. So in this case, we're going to take 4 hundredths and we're going to multiply it by 1 power of 10, moving that decimal point one place over. It's still a decimal, so we're going to have to multiply it by a second power of 10, moving the decimal point over one more place. And now, as you can see, this decimal point is at the end of the number, which means that we've shifted that digit 4 into the ones place, which is what we want. We want to create a whole number. But remember, what we do to the outside or to the divisor, we have to also do to the inside or the dividend. So since we multiplied 4 hundredths times 2 powers of 10, we're going to have to also multiply 23 and 6 hundredths by 2 powers of 10. So we'll take 23 and 6 hundredths and multiply it first by 1 power of 10, moving the decimal point over one place to the right. But now we have to multiply it by a second power of 10, and we don't have any digits here. So what we're going to have to do is create some digits. We're going to have to put a 0 there so that we can move our decimal place one more space over to create a number that is 2 powers of 10 multiplied by the original number of 23 and 6/10. When we moved that first time the decimal point over, we created a whole number, but since we had to multiply by 2 powers of 10, what we were really doing is we were taking the number 236 and multiplying it by 10, which of course gives us 2,360. So let's go ahead and rewrite this one more time to make it easier for us to work with. 2,360 divided by 4. Now that we've got a whole number in the divisor, we're ready to solve this problem as we would any other division problem. So we take our divisor 4 and we go ahead and determine how many times 4 goes into the first digit of the dividend, which doesn't go into 2 at all, so we extend to the second number of the dividend. How many times does 4 go into 23? Well, if you know your 4 times table, you know that 4 times 5 equals 20, and 4 times 6 equals 24. We're looking for how many times 4 goes into 23. 24 is too big of a number, so we can't use this. We're going to have to use 5. 4 goes into 23 5 times. 5 times 4 equals 20. 23 minus 20 equals 3. And then we bring down the 6. Okay, how many times does 4 go into 36? If you know your 4's times tables, you know that 4 times 9 equals 36. So we can go ahead and say that 4 goes into 36 9 times. 9 times 4 equals exactly 36. And we go ahead and subtract 36 minus 36, which leaves us with nothing. But remember, we still have this ones place left over. We can't stop here, even though we have nothing left over and just the number 0 to bring down. We have to make sure to fill this ones place in our answer. So because even with bringing down the ones place, we only have 0, we ask ourselves how many times does 4 go into 0, which almost seems funny because we know that 4 doesn't go into 0 at all, but it's really important that we add the 0 in our answer. 4 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 4 equals 0, which leaves us with nothing left over to worry about. And so we know that 23 6/10 divided by 4 hundredths equals 590.